So we are on the way to Canso now. Very excited. I've been wanting to see this place, been curious about this place for a long time. And the reason I'm going here is because I happen to be a major fan of Stan Rogers. And if you don't know who Stan Rogers is, he was a legendary Canadian folk musician who died way too young. He died at 33. And his roots go back to Canso, Nova Scotia. A lot of the songs he wrote were about this area, or inspired by this area. And I just gotta go see it, you know? But we are like clinging to the edge of the mainland of basically Canada here. And it's just gorgeous. I'm excited to go see it. Check it out.
We just lost sight of the Queensport light, down the bay before us, and the wind has blown some cold new day, just a wee touch of snow. Along the shore from Lazy Head, hard abeam half island, tonight we'll let the anchor go down in Fogarty's Cove.
What's going on, everybody? It's Adam here with another video. I'm a musician on the road, out in my van, traveling around Canada, exploring new places, and we have landed in Canso, Nova Scotia. Clinging to the very edge of the eastern shoreline here is a beautiful little historic town, known for its, fishing history like many of these little places, but also a folk legend. Stan Rogers, of course, the Canadian folk musician who I happen to love. The music, for the record, the music I'm playing are Stan Rogers songs, but I'm playing them. I didn't want to get into all the craziness of rights and all that stuff. So I just took some of my favorite songs by him and recorded them in the van here. I was recording them the last couple nights. It was a bit of a logistical nightmare, but I got through it, and I wanted to make them just for this video. I wanted to make a little tribute to this area and Stan, and I wanted to do it properly. This place is well off the beaten path. There's one way in, one way out. That's why most people don't come here. That's why I'm showing you this place, because it's just incredible. It's beautifully scenic, it's historic, it's at the water, and it's got that East Coast charm that everybody comes out here for. It's just a one-of-a-kind place. So, at first glance, Canso seems to be at the very edge of Nova Scotia, which it is. It seems to be in the middle of nowhere, which it is, but it's also quite central to the entire, Atlantic region in Canada. It's pretty cool. Like, by boat, Cape Breton is 7 miles away, and at night across the bay, you can see the flickering lights of Cape Breton Island. It's right there, but to drive there is an hour and a half. But looking from, bird's eye view, it's really in the middle of all these lovely places. PEI, Newfoundland, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. It's right in the middle of it all. So that being said, back in the day, getting here by boat was important and it was easy. And it's so funny. So many of these towns out here have claims to fame. And I thought Annapolis Royal was the oldest town in Canada, but I get here and they're like, no, it's not Annapolis Royal. We're the oldest town in Canada. So whatever. Apparently this place goes back to 1604, which is a long ways back. And it's always been here for fishing. When the earliest accounts of people getting here always talked about how amazingly abundant the cod, mackerel, haddock, and everything else was here. Fishing is still a major part of the Canso economy. I think it is still the part. It's the only part. It's just way smaller in size now than it used to be. Back in the day, they used to bring in so much cod. One season, the record was 8 million cod were caught in one season here, if you could imagine that. And that's all one at a time by hand. And they were laid out in flakes all across this harbor here. Of course, a lot of that infrastructure is now gone. There's still a beautiful trail at the water, though. You're at the open Atlantic here, basically. You can see Cape Breton in the distance, but you're at the open water here. You get a beautiful breeze here all the time. It's a gorgeous little place. Canso is not touristy. Canso is not a touristy place, which makes it a very real town. It's a working town. It's a town where people have been for, in a lot of cases, a lot of generations. You feel that in the air here. When you're walking around town, you don't see anything gimmicky. You're not seeing any tourist traps here. You see a lot of houses that have withstood the test of time. It's a big mixture of everything because this is a real place. And they've suffered like a lot of maritime communities when the cod collapsed. That being said, a weird new development, an exciting new development, a bizarre out of left field new development is taking place in Canso. However you want to look at it, the locals certainly have their opinions on this. They are building a space station. That's all I really know. They're calling it a commercial space station. It's a multi-$100 billion industry. It's going to be the first of its kind in Canada, right up the road. It's going to change this area forever. So all the pictures I'm showing you, soak them up, because Canso, Guysborough County will never be the same. You can look at it as a negative thing, as like the old days were so much better. It was so quiet here, so peaceful, and the fishing and all that stuff. That's one way to look at it. It's up to you, of course, how you want to look at it. The other way to look at it is, it's always been the spot for exploration. One could argue that it's always been at the cutting edge. When the cod fishery was in full swing back in the day, this place was like the cutting edge of the fishing industry. It was where it was at. Like, there was so many people here catching cod and like living that lifestyle. It was a bustling town. It was a frontier place, you know? So now it's entering the frontier of a new era, space exploration, right up the road. So spaceport is what they're calling it. And yeah, like I say, many opinions around town. The people who don't want it here, they're very open about it, as you can see by the signs. So anyways, Canso is a gorgeous, historic town. The houses go back here to the 1600s, and now it's going to be a town that's going to be all of a sudden going from like very quiet town to they're going to have a space station launching spaceships and satellites and who knows what else right up the road. To think of a space station coming in here is like a wild idea. It's hard to even imagine. So Canso, of course, also happens to be the homeland of Stan Rogers. He wasn't born here. He was born in Hamilton, Ontario, but his roots go back to here very strongly for many generations, right here in Canso. You can tell by his music right away. So if you don't know about Stan Rogers, I have to tell you about him. Tragically, he died on a plane accident in 1983. At a point where his career was just taking off, he was just hitting his stride in a big way. He was coming back from a folk festival in the United States, and the plane landed, but it was full of smoke, and he died from smoke inhalation. Real tragic event. Stan Rogers was so powerful a force in the music world that they now have a music festival in his name here in Canso every year. I just missed it. I missed it by a month. But it's pretty wild. The stage is still there. The whole field's there, empty. But for many years now, I think at least 20 years, they've been doing the Stan Rogers Folk Festival, and they bring artists from all over the world to Canso to celebrate Stan and celebrate folk music. What he achieved in his lifetime musically is like just incredible. He was like, you know, Stompin' Tom, Gordon Lightfoot, Gord Downie, these like, you know, very well-known Canadian figures kind of all wrapped up into one, and had his own unique style and just really sang the country into life. And his songs are iconic. The ones you're hearing now, of course, like I told you, I'm putting his songs, me doing them, because I'm just a huge fan. I know a bunch of his songs. And it's been a pleasure to, you know, artistically to actually come to someone's place who you really admire and see what they saw. And being here, I understand why Stan wrote what he wrote.
How still lies the bay in the light western airs, which blow from the crimson horizon. Once more we tack home with a dry, empty hull, saving gas with the breeze so fair. She's a kindly Cape Islander, old but still sound, and so lost in the long liner's shadow. Make and break and make.
I did have the pleasure to go on a boat while I've been here. My camera work was absolutely terrible. I apologize. But I wanted to get out on a boat on the water, and this father and son, this is like a scene left over from the old days. It's the father's boat, and he's got the son in on the business now. And they let me on the boat with them. So I called up, someone gave me Berkeley's number. Berkeley is the guy who owns the boat, and told me to call him and see if I can go on a ride with him, and I did. Yeah, I'd like to get out on a boat, so if you're in the mood today at all, I just thought I'd give you a try.
Yeah, okay, we can see what goes on after.
Yeah, sure. What do you normally charge just to go around like the islands?
I don't charge anything.
Oh, okay, well, jeez.
My Sally's like the raven's wing, her hair is like her mother's, with hands that make quick work of a chore, and eyes like the top of a stove. Come supper time, she'll walk the beach, wrapped in my old duffel, with her eyes upon the masthead reach down in Fogarty's Cove. She will walk the sandy shore so plain, watch the cobras roll in, till I come to wild roast hands again down in Fogarty's Cove. She'll walk the sandy shore so plain, watch the cobras roll in, till I come to wild roast hands again down in Fogarty's Cove. She cries when I'm away to sea, and nags me when I'm with her. She'd rather ride a government job or maybe go on the dole. I love her wave as I put to boat and nose into the channel.
It was so great to get on the water. Being out on the Atlantic, of course, is like this no matter what you do. It's never like this. So many little islands off the coast here, just absolutely gorgeous. And it was just great to see that, almost like a historic sight of a father and a son on the father's boat. I mean, that's just how it used to be back here for generations and generations. So it was great to be a part of it, and I'm really thankful for Berkeley and his son for taking me out on the water. It just made my day, made my whole trip. It was amazing. So Canso certainly has a charm. There's been so many times just sitting out at the bay, at the water, on a calm evening where you just have to sit there and sit there in awe, because it's just incredible. And of course, when I'm sitting out here, I'm thinking of the Stan Rogers songs in my head, because he just brought this place to life through his music. You know, knowing his songs and then coming here was just, it made all the difference in the world. It was just so powerful for me. And I hope you make it out here one day. I hope you come to the Stan Rogers Festival too, and experience it for yourself. All right, thanks everybody. And that's it for today. See you next time.